Chapter 9 is the passing away of Bhishma Dev, and today we are doing text 16. Prabhuji, shall I do the Mangla Charan and read the text?
Please.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanan Namaskrityam Naram Chevam Narotanam Devi Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayo Udirate. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 16. Nahi asya vijitrajan umam veda vidhishitam yajinyasaya yukta mohayanti kavayopi. Hare Krishna. Ajnanatirandasya jnananjana shalakaya Chakshururmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept our humble obeisances on behalf of everybody who have joined the group and are about to join. Prabhuji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1, Chapter 9, which is the passing away of Bhishma Dev. And the text for today is text 16. I hand over to you, Prabhuji. If you would like me to read the translation and purport, I can do that as well.
Yeah.
Translation. O King, no one can know the plan of Lord Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Yeah.
The bewilderment of Maharaj Yudhishthir over his past sinful acts and the resultant sufferings, etc., is completely negated by the great authority Bhishma, one of the 12 authorized persons. Bhishma wanted to impress upon Maharaj Yudhishthir that since time immemorial, no one, including such demigods as Shiva, and Brahma could ascertain the real plan of the Lord. So what can we understand about it? It is useless also to inquire about it. Even the exhaustive philosophical inquiries of the sages cannot ascertain the plan of the Lord. The best policy is simply to abide by the orders of the Lord without argument. The sufferings of the Pandavas were never due to their past deeds. The Lord had to execute the plan of establishing the kingdom of virtue, and therefore his own devotees suffered temporarily in order to establish the conquest of virtue. Bhishma Dev was certainly satisfied by seeing the triumph of virtue, and he was glad to see King Yudhishthir on the throne, although he himself fought against him. Even a great fighter like Bhishma could not win the battle of Kurukshetra because the Lord wanted to show that vice cannot conquer virtue, regardless of who tries to execute it. Bhishma was a great devotee of the Lord, but he chose to fight against the Pandavas by the will of the Lord because the Lord wanted to show that a fighter like Bhishma, even a fighter like Bhishma, cannot win on the wrong side. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotee. So I'll read the text again. O King, no one can know the plan of the Lord Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. So this is a classic question over the centuries of human society, that if God is good, why do bad things happen? And if I'm a good person, if I'm trying to be a devotee of God, then why are there problems in my life? So there's nothing new about this question. And it's a natural question. There's nothing wrong asking questions. We shouldn't try and pretend that we don't have doubt. There's no use in pretending. But we should understand what to do with it. So here, Srila Prabhupada is pointing out that Maharaj Yudhisthira, such a wise king, wise person, was bewildered. He couldn't understand how he could have been involved in what turned out to be a lot of suffering from one point of view. And he was inquiring from Bhishma, and Bhishma Dev, as one of the Mahajan, 10 of the main authorities of Vedic spirituality. He says not even great demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma fully understand. What can we understand? So that's a very important thinking. We don't have the ability to fully understand many things. It's just beyond our understanding. And why the Supreme Personality of Godhead allows certain things to happen. There's just so many factors. It's a very difficult job that Krishna has. He has to somehow fit together the past activities of so many practically infinite living beings, different situations, and he has to sort it all out in a way which is good for everyone. So this is the faith of a devotee in every religion, whether Islamic or Christian or Jewish, Parsi, Sikh. this faith that God is good all the time, that he is a good-minded person, he is the Supreme Father, he is caring, he is at least as caring as I am. I don't think many of us, if any of us, lay in bed at night thinking how to hurt someone, usually. Most of us, or all of us, we want to treat other people nicely. So if we're like that, certainly God is like that. So Srila Prabhupada says that in answer to the question, then why do so many things happen that don't seem very good? Just like in the Ukraine, there are many devotees who belong to the Christian faith and Islamic faith, who are devotees in our Krishna consciousness movement. And many of them are experiencing severe difficulties. Some of them have been hurt. Some of them have died. So how is that? You know, how they're singing prayers to Lord Nrsingadev and they're chanting Hare Krishna. So how could anything bad happen? How do we know it's bad? That is our assumption. And it's a natural assumption, of course. Anyone who gets hurt, that's not good. And we think that's bad. But the truth is, we don't really know. We don't actually know if it was bad. Perhaps that devotee in a previous life very badly hurt someone. So now in this life, instead of something worse happening, they did get some reaction. And in their next life, they will continue their Krishna consciousness. And other purposes can be served, just like the Pandavas. They were put through so many difficulties, and here we are talking about them today. Krishna is using Yudhisthira and Arjuna and Bhima and Bhishma and Draupadi right now, today, to give others faith in Krishna and Bhakti. So yes, it was not good that the Pandavas underwent so many difficulties, but ultimately, in a larger purpose, it was for good. Even in a company, suppose a hospital. So sometimes the administrator of the hospital will arrange that for a short time, because of some disaster or some crisis, the nurses and the doctors may have to work 16-hour shift, 24-hour shift. And they agree. I mean, it may be difficult, but they know it is for a good cause and in other things. But the point is, it is for a good purpose, and they allow themselves to participate in that. That ultimately the administrator knows what is best for the situation. So the advanced devotees have faith that whatever situation I end up in, somehow it is all for the good. And even they will, it wasn't fun for them. We should not think that the Pandavas did not have difficulty, that they were somehow floating up in the air. It was difficult to leave the palace and not sleep on nice beds and have good food, and then go in the forest and sleep on the ground. It was hard. But they had this confidence that somehow they did not become hateful against Krishna. They may have complained because we're human, and they may have become a little depressed occasionally, but they never gave up their total love for Krishna or became hateful toward him. They had this confidence that somehow It is all for the good. And I want to do good for Krishna. This is love. This is love. Whether it's between friends or husband and wife or between parents and children, because of love, we accept difficulties, don't we? That's the sign of love, that we will accept some difficulty to please someone else. So, all right, this is very difficult, it's hard, but it pleases you, my child, or my father, or my husband, or my wife, and I care about it. And I'm happy if you're happy. So even though my feet are hurting, I'm doing it. So Srila Prabhupada says that the best policy is just to go with the will of God, the plan of Krishna, without complaining and having confidence that it is good for me. And Krishna has some plan also for others. So then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada goes on to discuss that even someone as great as Bhishmadev, although he was so powerful, and also Dronacharya was very powerful, and Karna and Duryodhana, they're very powerful fighters. And Bhishmadev was super powerful. But the Kurus lost. Even though the Kuru army was much greater, they lost. Because because ultimately it is up to Krishna whether we win or lose. And even if we're very, very capable, if it is not meant for us to succeed, we won't. And even if someone may say that person will never succeed, if God decides that you will succeed, you will. So devotees understand this, that ultimately there has to be the agreement of Krishna that something will be successful or something will be accomplished or not accomplished. We will not know exactly. Suppose we're trying to even do something for Krishna, that let me open a temple in this new town. Let me expand my business so I can give more donations to Prabhupada. Or let me have children so I can raise them in Krishna consciousness. And we may try and try, and it just doesn't work out. So is that because of our past karma? Is that because Krishna doesn't want it to happen? Does Krishna want me to keep trying harder? We may not know exactly. With regard to whether we should keep, let me expand my business so I can give more donations. But if we are so busy and feeling frustrated and we're not doing our sadhana, then we should stop, or at least temporarily stop. We should let nothing interfere with our basic bhakti sadhana of chanting, puja, worshiping Tulsi, etc. That's first and foremost. And it may be that we take consultation, that I'm trying to do this, it doesn't seem to be working. So we allow Krishna to speak to us through a mentor or a friend, or someone. We ask, we consult with others. Do you think I should keep doing this? And try and understand in a practical way, perhaps you should keep trying, or perhaps you should do something else for Krishna. But we may not know. So this where Srila Prabhupada is discussing about effort. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that we should not be attached to the results of the work, but we should work as we are obligated as a matter of duty. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Our responsibility is to put our best effort. That's all we're responsible for. And remembering Krishna, that is the ultimate success. Did I remember Krishna? Was I Krishna conscious? That is our success. And then next is, did I get the results for Krishna or my spiritual master that were marked for me, or I set as a goal for myself? We should be careful not to let others confuse us what is the success of our life. It doesn't matter who they are, whether it's the next door neighbor or your friend or the temple president, whoever. Our success is just what Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhava man bhakto majidimam namasturu. You always think of me, be my devotee, bow down to me, worship me, always think of me and never forget me. Love me. That is exactly what Srila Prabhupada has instructed us. And that is those are our goal. It's not to become wealthy or to be successful in business or to have children that grew up to be the best of devotees and they're so polite and everyone is impressed about them. Not to be the best and not to be a good kirtan singer or anything other than just what Lord Krishna said. So always think of me, love me, be my devotee. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer and give away, do it in devotion to me. This is our goals of life. And we can see that the Pandavas, they lost many battles. They won the war. But so many challenges and difficulties and problems. Oh my God. So many very severe challenges. Devotees of Krishna, but the Kurus were trying to kill them. Every few years, there was assassination attempt. That's very serious. And then they had to live for 13 years out in the woods. That's very difficult. But ultimately, Yudhisthira was reinstalled on the throne and they lived peacefully until the end of their life. But their success is their devotion. What's that? Patram puspam phalam toyam yome bhakta pranash. The whole reason that there is suffering in this world is because of a lack of love of Krishna. Love of Krishna will solve every difficulty gradually. Love of Krishna will take us back to the spiritual world and allow us to break free from the cycle of birth and death. Love of Krishna, even in the very beginning stages, brings so much happiness. When we hear when we read the writings of the great devotees, when we hear the lectures of Srila Prabhupada, we hear how wonderful is the happiness of love of Krishna. That there is no other happiness better, more enjoyable than having affection, love for Krishna. That it is like a drug. Like people take intoxicants, cocaine, and especially stimulants, or even other things, so that they can feel a rush of happiness. I remember many years ago, I was working for a computer company, so I was going into people's homes and businesses. So I was tending one man's computer, and I could see he was not quite right. So he was telling me, yes, I have this drug. And he showed me these pills that he had hidden inside of a book. He said, yes, I'm going to take these pills and I'm going to stay awake for 3 days. 3 days straight, I'm going to be awake. And it's going to be so exciting. And it would be, these stimulants, they so much stimulate, and people feel like they're electrified and full of energy and able to do anything. It goes away, and usually there is what's called a crash, as you may know. Even you drink tea or coffee, a lot of coffee or tea, and then after some hours you crash. You become actually you feel worse. It's very short. It's a very short rush of energy. So love of Krishna is like a drug. The drugs, whether it's marijuana or psychotropic, psychoactive drugs and herbs that affect the mind, they send people into alternate states of consciousness. Just like when you have anesthesia, you become unconscious. And there's different drugs that put one in different kinds of thinking patterns, which are often frightful because they're so different. But my point is that alternate ways of thinking and states of consciousness and awareness, something different. And love of Krishna, we can think, all of us can think of some time, all of us think for a moment of some very, very happy day. We came home from school after a long time away, and we met friends and our parents. Or we met a relative that we hadn't seen for a long time, and it was just so happy. You felt so much love in your heart, and you're hugging, laughing, or you attended some party, graduation, or something. You got a promotion, and you're just so very happy. So we have had, I'm sure all of us have had some experiences of just really happy. We couldn't imagine being more happy. So love of Krishna, loving Krishna. And I think we want to focus on the, not just like graduating from college, but more to the point, experiences of love. Falling in love with a significant other, and the happiness of being with that person and doing things with that person. The happiness of a mother with her newborn child and the baby, taking care of the baby, and such happiness, such the flow of love. We really enjoy that, don't we? There's nothing like it. That there's some happiness when we eat something. We eat something nice. We have a good meal, and it's a kind of pleasure, and we feel happy. Or if we watch the television or a movie and it's very good, and oh, that was so good. But then there is another kind of happiness from within our heart when there is a flow of love. Yeah. Even if we have a pet, some, especially children, anyone, you have a pet that you really, really love, and you love that pet. So that is its enjoyment to love. Now imagine loving Krishna, loving God. Just like when we accidentally touch an electric wire, we get a shock. Now, if we were at the powerhouse and we touched a big wire there, that would be a different kind of electrifying experience. We probably wouldn't live. So the great devotees of Krishna, they describe when we hear Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the six Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, all of these great Vaishnava saints, when they speak about the joy of loving Krishna, of having affection for him, not just officially, just like prime minister. So we have prime minister of Kenya or the prime minister of the UK. So that is a position. The headmaster of a school is a position. We may respect the headmaster, but we may not have any particular liking for the person. We may not particularly have anything in our heart, but we do offer respect. It's a different thing when you have some feeling for the government officer or the administrator, right? So we should respect Krishna, God. And in our state, we should be careful not to lose respect. We should remain aware of how great Lord Krishna is. But at the same time, we should allow ourselves to love Krishna, to be attracted to him, to like him, to like Krishna. Is Guna Rupa Namna, the qualities of Lord Krishna, just like in the Nectar of Devotion, there are 64 qualities: being generous and kind and intelligent and a good speaker and brave and considerate. So these are qualities of character. And the beauty of Lord Krishna with his beautiful reddish lotus palms, reddish lotus feet, dark, bluish, blackish complexion, wearing beautiful, beautiful clothes, peacock feathers, beautiful face. So Krishna's Rupa, his form, Guna Rupa, Nam is so many different names. Gopi Janavalabha. And he is the beloved of the gopis. And what's that? Jai Radha Madhava, the husband of the goddess of fortune. Jai Radha Madhava, Kunja Vihar. He is sporting, he is having fun in the forests of Vrindavan. Kunja Vihar. Jai Radha Madhava, Kunja Vihar. Gopi Janavalabha. Giri Vadadari. He lifts the great mountain of Govardhan and protects the residents of Vrindavan. He drives the chariot of Arjuna. He is the friend of the Pandavas. He's very dear to Draupadi and Kunti. He appears in so many incarnations: Matsya, Korma, the tortoise incarnation, fish incarnation, half man, half lion, the Singha incarnation. Krishna is amazing. Adbhuta Singha. So we're attracted to the Guna Rupa Namna, the name, form, qualities, the pastimes, the Leela. So we should allow ourselves and we should desire to like Krishna. not just officially that he's God, but to actually appreciate him in a personal way. This is the goal of our life, and ultimately is to revive our full, flowing love for Krishna. We hear Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya instructing us, guiding us, that just as you love your parents, children, pets, and friends, your wife, your husband, love Krishna. The same thing. It's the same warm flow of affection. Let it go towards Krishna, even a little bit. That we want to try and appreciate Krishna. Just like we may, we work in business, and we have dealings with the owner, with the owner of the business, or the chief executive officer. So that it could be just a business relationship, but then again, we may develop some friendships, and we like the person, and they like us, and it's not just official. So one time, very early, maybe 1966 or 67. So there was one early disciple who was living outside the temple and was bringing work. Srila Prabhupada gave him tape, recorded tape to type the work. So he would take the tape and then bring it back with the typing. So one time, Srila Prabhupada said to him that this is not business, that I'm giving you some tapes and you're just typing. You love me and I love you. You love me and I love you. And this is our relationship with the spiritual master and with Krishna. And Krishna loves us. He does. He loves us very much. And hopefully we can find the time to think about that. That Krishna loves me. He does. He loves me just because I'm part of him. And I can understand that he loves me. He's providing so many things automatically, so many things. Think about this. Why so many spices? Cumin, coriander, turmeric, ginger, so many spices. God didn't have to give us that. He could have just no spices. You eat your roti, you eat your paratha, no flavor. But he's very kind that, you should have flavor. It may seem like, who thinks about that? But we should think about those things. Krishna doesn't owe us in a sense. He didn't have to, but he does. And so many fruits, pineapples, and mangoes, and cherries, and apples, and oranges, and lemons, so many vegetables for our enjoyment. Krishna is giving to us already. God is giving so much. Our spiritual father, Krishna, is giving us already so many things. Where does the intelligence come to do the things that we want to do? We want to be successful, whatever it is we're doing, but who gives us the intelligence? It's Krishna. Krishna helps us to be successful according to our desire. Krishna, God, he loves us very much. And the difficulty is that to one degree or the other, we are not loving him as fully as we should. And there are so many persons in this world who want nothing to do. This material world is such a dark, crazy place. We are living in an insane, what they call an insane asylum. This whole planet Earth is a place of crazy. Crazy because so, not all, but so many hate Krishna, hate God, want nothing to do with God, or they're very much not knowing about God. I don't think we, all of us, appreciate how backward this place is. We really are in a dark cave. And as we become healthy and we come back to our right thinking and recognize God, recognize Krishna, and try to appreciate him instead of being mad at him. Why did you give me this? Why did you give me that? Why did you let this happen? Instead, I mean, which is understandable, you know, but we need to get over that. We need to get past that because it's childish. Actually, it's actually just due to ignorance that people blame God. That's all it is. We should very much love Krishna, and it is our natural. It's just natural to have love for God. And as we were discussing, love for Krishna, having the kind of warm appreciation and affection for Krishna pleases him. There's nothing that pleases him more. That's the whole thing. And it doesn't have to be, we don't have to be gopis or, you know, cowherd boys. We don't have to be anything extreme right now. But just we appreciate when we offer our incense, when we offer our water to Krishna, when we chant Krishna's name, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. We should try to do it with some genuine positive feelings for Krishna. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you for the nice warm blanket. Thank you for the flour to make paratha. Thank you for the intelligence I had to do my job yesterday and I didn't get fired. Thank you for the air I'm breathing. Yes, Lord Chaitanya showed us the example of appreciating everything. Being a devotee does not mean that the whole world is false and doesn't exist. Being a devotee means that we recognize that everything is real. It may be temporary, but it's real. And it comes from Krishna. And this blanket does feel good on a cold night. Thank you, Krishna. That's not Maya. That's called love of Krishna. And as we make advancement, we will become less concerned with our material situation, that whatever it is, that's all right. I just love Krishna. Just like we have a friend, right? All of us, I hope, have some friends. And whether we're having a good day or a bad day, and we lose our job or we cut our finger, we're still friendly with our friend. We don't blame our friend, do we? Oh, I lost my job. It's your fault. I hate you. I'm not going to talk to you. No, the relationship of friendship is beyond what's happening in your life. In fact, usually having a friend, it helps. So we want to make progress understanding that we are responsible for what we have and what we don't have in our life. And Krishna very kindly provides it according to what we deserve and what we work for and what we desire. But our love for Krishna should not depend upon how much money we have, what kind of job, if our marriage is going well or not going well, or if it's a hot day or a cold day, or I have a headache or not. We should practice not letting that interfere with our good feelings for Krishna, because he doesn't deserve it. He's really not responsible. We are. And he is so very, very kind that although, if not in this life, some other life, we were hateful against Krishna, and we rejected Krishna, and we were very offensive to Krishna. But he still loves us. So we may not want to think about that, but it's true. So there's every good reason to have positive, good feelings for Krishna. Just like if suppose you do something and you're in jail, well, that's your fault. You can't blame the warden. You can't just, that's not nice. Criticize the warden all day. Actually, the warden is thinking how to arrange rehabilitation programs, making sure you have something to eat, other prisoners don't kill you. Actually, you should be happy. You should have good feelings for the warden. But, sometimes it's difficult for us to go beyond our tendency to blame. And also, sometimes we're just so miserable, it's hard to be nice to anyone, right? Sometimes we feel like that, don't we? Or, we know that sometimes people get so miserable that they can't be nice to anyone. It's just so hard. And that's understandable. But we should try to not do that with Krishna. The more that we have good feelings for him, the more happy we'll feel, the more peaceful we'll feel. We'll become free of our past sins, and Krishna will be inclined. We will attract Krishna by our positive feelings. It may not. You may ask, well, how is that possible? But actually, if you just think, you just practice every day for a week, in the morning or something, or in the evening, or anytime, you just think, I love Krishna more and more every day. Krishna is wonderful. So you may not feel that, but if you do it, you'll feel a little happy, because Krishna is happy just because you're trying. So I'm making the point that we should try to increase our positive feelings, and it will be all for the good. All for the good. It will take us to the highest levels of peace and happiness that we can have by increasing our warm, positive feelings for Krishna. And so we hear about him, and we try and let ourselves become attracted to him. We look at the deity every day. We should always see the deity, even if it's online. We should see the deities in the temple and study them and try and let ourselves be attracted to something about them that we can remember and Krishna will really enjoy that. You want to give Krishna a lot of happiness? Just try to love him. And he will see, oh, they're trying to appreciate it. So let's stop here and we can ask questions and discuss.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much. I had to switch my video off because I couldn't hear you clearly, Prabhuji. I apologize for that. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful session. And I really enjoyed it when you said that we are so backward. We are living in the caves, and yet we think we are so modern. And it just brought me into perspective of where we are. And we just want to stay in this dark cave and just be there with all the materialistic thing, and we are not even coming out to see the light outside the cave. So thank you very much for that example. And yes, we rebelled, and we were envious, and we did something that brought us here. So Prabhuji, you said not to dwell on it. Should we not dwell on it at all?
Dwell on how we made a mistake and how we fell down?
Yes.
Well, not to the extent that we become depressed. But we should remain awake and aware that will help us to feel more peaceful in the course of life. We won't feel so upset because we'll remember, oh, right, I made a wrong choice. I got to be more careful next time to make the better choices, and that's it. You pick up and move on. We're always encouraged to pick up and move on and do it better. We don't want to dwell on it too much. Even we make some mistake, we fall down a little bit, whatever. So, Krishna, what can I do so it doesn't happen again? And let me just pick up and keep going, because that's the way to deal with it. We don't want to kick ourselves for too long, and we don't want to take it lightly, but we don't want to dwell on it too much. Just pick up, keep going. Srila Prabhupada directly says in the Nectar of Devotion that the best way to atone for mistakes and offenses is more devotional service.
Prabhuji, can you repeat that? I didn't get that properly.
The best way to make up for some mistake or offense is to keep on practicing bhakti yoga, and find out, make plans how to not have that happen again.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
We don't want to ever get into, I'm a horrible devotee, I should never chant. That's just depressive mind. It's useless.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Are there any other questions or comments from the group?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. Wonderful class. Actually, I was thinking that whatever qualities what we have, that is ultimately coming from Krishna. But when we think that okay, we want to get credit for something what we have done, so those qualities are also coming from him. So whether is it good to think like that?
Why not rob a bank? Why not think about robbing a bank? Krishna, it comes from Krishna, the ability to make plans. And it's true. There's no better criminal than Krishna. He's the ones who comes up with all of our ideas. Yeah, but we are instructed to cultivate sattva guna, the qualities of goodness, and not cultivate could be harmful, exploitive qualities. Yeah. So yes, if Krishna is capable of giving a killer understanding how to kill someone, but we're not cultivating that kind of intelligence. And actually that kind of darkness is because of just like the sun does not create shadows. There could not be shadows without the sun. But the only reason there are shadows is because something stands in front of the sun. So we stand in front of the sun and we produce darkness. So when we don't connect with Krishna and disconnect from the guidance of Krishna, then we end up in darkness, which nothing could exist without Krishna, but Krishna did not directly produce the darkness. He's right. We were the direct cause. So yes, there are murderers and rapists and cheaters, which is a result of their disconnecting from Krishna. And Krishna can seem to be cruel, perhaps, when he fights demons, but it's for a good cause. Just like in this world, there are fierce soldiers and policemen, and they can kill criminals, which is violence, but it's good violence, right? It's for a good purpose.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Qualities in the spiritual world have their positive reflection. That's how I've understood.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And Prabhuji, what to talk of criminals and those people who have disconnected from Krishna, but even us who are trying to love Krishna and trying to be grateful to him and understanding our position where we also get disconnected from Krishna. So, I mean, the whole day, at least for me, I try to remember it. Instances and the times when I'm back and I feel I've disconnected myself from him.
Yeah. You just have to keep turning back towards the light. It's endless. But as time goes on, we just develop more spontaneous desire to stay in the light, and we don't want to go away. That just will spontaneously stay connected. So that will happen more and more. It will.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving us this confidence. Sometimes that is really important and we need to be reminded, and thank you for doing that.
Yeah, just like diamond covered with coal. You wash it long enough, you'll see the diamond. That's all. You just have to clean. It's not like some imagination. There is a diamond, and we are all diamond. Everyone is a diamond, pure soul. Everyone, but we are covered. So we just have to keep washing without getting too dirty again, because we have this tendency that we get cleaned and then we get involved in some activities and our mind gets mucked up. So we practice not getting mucked up and dirty again, so that we just get cleaner and cleaner.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Any other questions or comments? There are no questions or comments. Maybe can I request Arya Prabhu, Arya Govind Prabhu? Is it possible for you to end the session, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us so many practical tips on how to love Krishna and how to be connected to Krishna, and then always remember Krishna. So thank you so much for this, Hare Krishna. I request all the assembled devotees to unmute and then chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
I wanted
Desha Krupa Sindhubheva Patitana.
And look how this is. So Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna Chaitanya, and Lord Nityananda, they were there. They incarnated and had so many pastimes. And our Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Srimati Radharani with such extreme love of Krishna. The love of the gopis for Krishna is so deep. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed amazing devotion. And his followers, they also got the reflection, the six Goswami. They got the reflection of this intense love of Krishna, and they practiced Krishna bhakti, and they reflected, and they are reflected the light of love of Krishna from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all the way down, so that even myself, I'm not that advanced as a devotee, and I didn't grow up in a religious family, but somehow, because of the powerful influence of Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all of these exalted Vaishnava devotees, Srila Prabhupada, we are able to pass along and transmit this wonderful divine Krishna consciousness as far as each of us is able to. So I'm just pointing out how we don't have to be, we shouldn't think, oh, I have no ability, I can't do anything. But if we just, without changing anything, just pass along these teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as far as we're able, then others may go far beyond us, which is okay. You know, someone may hear these teachings and, oh, this is so nice. And we see that sometimes. Sometimes people come to the temple and they stay and they connect with a mentor, and they become so quickly enthusiastic, and it's like amazing. But our potency is the potency of this parampara, the potency of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Everyone be well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you
Krishna.
very much for your time. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Arya Govind Prabhu, for ending the session. Is it
Thank
my
you.
internet, Prabhuji, or were you having difficulties understanding?